Hello, this is a video kind of me sort of explaining the differences between a mandolin and an Irish bouzouki, as I now know that this thing is called. I did a separate video the other day on the Irish bouzouki. I'll put a link if I'm amazing here. If not, it'll be down in the description somewhere. Check that out, just kind of get into grips with that instrument. And I've done a little bit of research. Please correct me if I make any mistakes down in the comments. I love to read all the arguments down there. So this is a little bit of a comparison and to show how similar these two instruments are. So here is a mandolin, bog standard mandolin, tuned in fifths. Does it start with G, D, A, and E. G, D, A, E, low pitch to high pitch. Which is exactly the same, as we'll see later on, as the Irish bouzouki. I'm not very good at either of these. I'm a beginner, really. Know a few chords, so I'll just play something. Get me pick. Right. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but that's how it sounds. All the strings are in pairs, so it has 8 strings, but 4 notes. So the first 2 strings, the same note, and so the pattern goes on. 8 strings in pairs, and you don't play each string individually, you play it 2 at the same time. So when you're doing single notes, you play 2 strings at the same time as if it was 1 string. And that kind of gives you a natural chorus effect. To me, it makes it sound like the instrument's out of tune, or maybe I've not quite tuned it perfectly. So, here is the mandolin. Yay! Here is the Irish bouzouki. There's another bouzouki, which kind of, I think is a Greek bouzouki, and that looks a bit better. Some of them have like a bowl back and lots of decorative stuff on them. They're the same instrument, really. The reason this is an Irish bouzouki, I think, is literally, just because of the shape of the thing and the different style of playing. But you can play any style on any instrument, of course. But traditionally speaking, this is an Irish bouzouki, and the bowl back, prettier looking ones are Greek, I think. But this is an Irish one, so let me explain about this. This is tuned in fifths, exactly the same. G, D, A, E. Exactly the same, but 1 octave lower. So, here's a G, here's a G. Octave lower. Go the other way. Right, that's hard to do. Octave lower. Now, at first, when I was looking into what this was called, I know I called it a bouzouki. No, it is a bouzouki. I know I called it a balalaika in the last video. It's definitely not a balalaika. A balalaika is a 3-stringed Russian instrument that looks like a big triangle with 3 strings on it, basically. This is a bouzouki. Yes, I will remember that, I hope. And it's an octave lower. Bottom line, it's an octave lower than a mandolin. So I thought maybe it's an octave mandolin, because that's a thing, which is basically a bigger mandolin. Now, the difference between this Irish bouzouki and an octave mandolin is not the tuning, it's exactly the same, it's just the scale length. So this is slightly longer than an octave mandolin, but you play them exactly the same. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Irish bouzouki, slightly longer than an octave mandolin, but tuned and played in the same way. Traditionally, you can tune it however you want, but what I just said earlier is the traditional tuning, which is the same as the mandolin. Therefore, you play them in exactly the same way. You get the same notes from the same frets, okay? But the only difference is what you do with your fingers. And I say, as a beginner, I can't tell you exactly what to do with your fingers, but some chords need fingering in slightly different ways, or slightly different ways of playing scales, which I'll leave you to look up somewhere else. Sorry if you were watching this video to get that explained, but I can't because I don't know. But the main thing I struggled with a little bit, and then I got to grips with it, was these kind of chords, these big bar chords. Because it's such a long scale, that's quite a stretch. Or it was initially. Now I'm kind of getting used to it. But it is hard. It is hard. So, but the same can be said for the mandolin. It's so small, it's hard to fit the hand in. It's alright, I'll try and play something simple and then play exactly the same thing, hopefully, on the mandolin just so you can hear the difference. A very boring 4-chord progression. So, hopefully, the exact same thing on the mandolin. What did I do? I think that was roughly the same. Well, for me, it's much harder to play certain chords on this because it's so small. But it's up to you and your fingers and how each instrument feels to you. But if you know how to play one of those, theoretically you know roughly how to play one of those. Just depends how you want to hold your fingers. Slightly different, like the difference between playing a soprano ukulele and a tenor ukulele. They're the same instrument, but one's slightly bigger. Or a soprano recorder, or an alto recorder, or a tenor recorder. Same, but bigger. So it's just how you adjust your playing style to the different instruments. But this mandolin and that Irish bouzouki are exactly the same if you tune them the same. You get the same notes in the same places, and you can play the same chord shapes on each one. It's just an octave in difference in pitch. This is 1 octave higher than that, and that is 1 octave lower than this. Oh, there we go. Please feel free to give me a ton of abuse down there in the comments if you want to, and or correct me on anything. As I say, I'm a beginner, but I just hoped I could clear something up for you because I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. I just bought both of these instruments because I love how they look and I love how they sound. So, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more instrument videos. Bye for now.